Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Devin. I'm joined by my coworker and friend Jocelyn Hendrickson, and she'll be joining us a little bit later in the call to take us through a live demo of today's new e-commerce solution brought to you by Bluehost. So give me just a second. I want to make sure that I'm sharing the right screen here for a second, and we'll get into this. In the meantime, just a couple of housekeeping things. If you can drop in your find the questions part of the GoToWebinar dashboard and drop where you're calling in from or where you're tuning in from, I suppose. I'm always curious to hear where people are joining us for today's call. Awesome. We've got a bunch of answers jumping in. We got Virginia, Florida, Milwaukee, Portland, Chicago, Idaho. Very fun. Thank you all for joining us today. I hope this is informative and educational for you. I know that I'm excited about this new product that we're talking about today, and I hope you are as well. Also, if you want, in the questions box, drop if you have an e-commerce store, what you sell, or if you, to make it a little bit more fun, if you could sell anything in your e-commerce store, what would you love to sell if you could? So my name is Devin Sears. I'm the field marketing manager for Bluehost. I'm joined today by Jocelyn Hendrickson, as I mentioned. She has been in charge of bringing this product to market, so she's very familiar with it and has spent a lot of time getting all of this ready to come to market for everyone. By the way, can people see my my screen? I want to make sure. It says that it is transmitting, but I know that occasionally there are a couple issues that come up with GoToWebinar, and that brings us to a couple housekeeping things. We've talked about audio, we've talked about questions. In your GoToWebinar dashboard, there should be a questions box. I will be monitoring questions and answering those as best as I possibly can as we go through this. Any questions that I don't know the answer to or that I think will be beneficial to the larger group, I will hold those for the end for a Q&A session. And that's when we will ask Jocelyn all the questions that remain from throughout the presentation, and we'll make sure that we get everyone the answers that they need from that. Some questions that we always get: yes, this will be recorded, and yes, we will be sending out a recording to everyone that registered for this. So rest assured, you will have a chance to watch this in review, and if you have to drop early for any reason, you also will be able to catch it later. So to begin, our mission as Bluehost has kind of changed and is a little bit fluid throughout the years, but I like to distill it into kind of one simple value. That's to empower people to fully harness the web. We try to make it easier for people to get online more quickly and to have all of the power that can come with an awesome hosting platform. So our promise today, if you stick with us through this webinar, we're going to show you that anyone can create a highly functional, highly aesthetic, great looking e-commerce website, even if they're not a developer. And I feel like that goes back to the Bluehost mission, is to empower people to fully harness the web. We want to make it easier for non-developers to build a great looking website, because I feel like the vast majority of people have a great idea, and we want to help them bring that idea online, and we want to help them bring that idea to life. So what we'll be covering today: 7 simple chapters. Most of this is going to be a live demo that Jocelyn will be walking us through the product, showing us the features that she's excited about, some of the features and benefits that are particularly helpful in getting your e-commerce website online. I'm going to be taking us through the first 2 chapters, why you might seriously consider building an e-commerce store if you're on the fence about it, a couple best practices for getting started with your online business, and then she'll be taking us through the rest of these chapters today. So getting into it, why should you consider building an e-commerce store? Very simple. First of all, what is e-commerce? E-commerce is a store or a website that allows people to buy and sell physical goods, services, and digital products over the internet rather than a brick and mortar location. And the big reason why I think everyone should consider building an e-commerce store is because e-commerce, online sales, online retail accounts for over $5 trillion and just under 20% of all retail transactions. So there's also a long list of benefits for an e-commerce shop that we'll be getting into. One, you're no longer limited by a physical location. You know, if you are selling homemade designer fashion or something like that, if you don't have an online store, then your clientele is limited to people that come to your physical location. Obviously, if you have an online store, then your clientele is limited to pretty much anyone with an internet connection. And as we all know, that's a much broader audience. There's a bunch of other benefits. I don't think we need to get into every single one of these, but some of the ones that I think are very important. Bullet point number 3, you can get a site up and running in very little time. I feel like in contrast to having a brick and mortar store, finding a space that works for you, signing the lease, designing the store, doing everything that's involved with getting a store up and running, that can take a lot of time and a lot of effort. Whereas with an e-commerce store, as Jocelyn showed us today, you can get a site up and running in a day, if less than that. You know, you could have a great framework in an hour probably. It also makes marketing a lot easier. It gives you a lot more control over your brand as opposed to selling on Etsy or eBay or something like that. It allows you to control your brand. And also one that I think is particularly appealing, it allows you to make money while you sleep. As long as you have automated shipping and a great e-commerce solution, I think that people can buy things off your website whenever your website is up. So unlike a physical location, the online store does not close. So getting into some best practices for getting started with an online business. And we won't go too deep into this because I suspect that most of the people on this call are mostly interested in seeing the new product and seeing all of the great things that come with it. But if you're still on the fence and you're thinking, okay, I think I have an idea, but I don't know if it's going to be worth anything, or I don't know if I should actually take the time to develop it further, here's some best practices for getting started that I think can kind of help you refine your idea and help you get a little bit more clear on your mission, on what you want to actually achieve. So step 1, you want to identify the problem to be solved. What product or service or subscription, what problem are you trying to solve by introducing that into the market? And then you choose your product and your service or whatever you might be selling that will solve that problem, step 2. Then moving on to step 3, you want to identify your target audience. And that can be a little bit tricky sometimes because it's, especially when it comes to an e-commerce store, your target market essentially is anyone that has an internet connection, but your target audience, I feel like, is people that you think would be particularly benefited by purchasing your services or your products. So I actually recommend taking that a step further and building out an actual buyer persona, which is just a profile of the person that you want to attract as a client. You know, what is their personality like? And when you kind of develop this persona, it can help you refine and focus your efforts when it comes to your digital marketing efforts. Step 4 is validating your product, maybe with a few close friends, maybe find a community where you live and see if you can pitch it to a couple people, see if they like the idea. You can also validate your product by getting it online at a smaller scale. You know, maybe tapping into some of those third-party markets like Etsy or Amazon or eBay and seeing if people are interested in purchasing it then. And then I feel like once you've kind of validated it, it's time to move on to identify and develop a business model. Figure out, are you going to do a subscription service? Are you going to do a one-time payment? Are you going to try to offer an affiliate program? Now, which I guess is a little bit more in the marketing strategy, but understanding your business model and how you want to make money as your business can be absolutely critical, especially as you're moving down the road in these steps. Then once you've developed your business model, you can begin creating branding. You know, pick a great business name, secure a domain, start securing the digital handles for all of the social media accounts that you want to have support this branding. And then that obviously leads into create a marketing strategy for this. And one step that I have left off that is absolutely critical is building your e-commerce store. And I left that off because I feel like you can start doing that at any one of these stages. Once you kind of have the problem to be solved, if you want, you could write a blog about how you feel like it's really difficult to find reliable landscapers in the area where you live that can do a great service at a great price. And maybe as you start validating your product, you can develop that blog into a storefront and start selling through that. So these are just 7 quick tips on best practices for getting started. And with that, we are going to go into chapters 3 through 7, all of which will be a live demo. So Jocelyn, are you with us?
Hi, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, awesome. She is here with us. And real quick, before I turn it over to her completely, I just want to let everyone know I will be off screen answering questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them. I'm going to turn it off because my questions are on this screen and I feel like it's going to be very distracting to everyone that's paying attention if I'm constantly looking to the left and right. So I will come back on for the questions and answer. Jocelyn, let me give you control.
Hey everyone, I'm Jocelyn Hendrickson. Like Devin said, I'm product manager here at Bluehost. I've been with the company for just about 10 years. So it's been really exciting to work on this commerce project. We just went live with this, gosh, what was it, 2 weeks ago, seems like. So we're just gonna go ahead and dive in and show you guys what we've got. So when you're first setting it up, we're gonna go through and take the steps that's asked in order for us to get our store online. Okay, so again, we're gonna go ahead and set up this demo. I have already filled out the content for this site here. So I'll explain what I've already done and the options that are going to be provided for you. So this is just your welcome screen. So it's going to give you helpful tips and tricks. These will be updated as we have new features and new content for our users. We'll go ahead and we're going to start our setup. The first thing that is going to ask you is how experienced you are with WordPress. May seem like a silly question, but for us it's really important because we are able to then tailor your experience of setting up your online store based on your experience. If you've never used it before, we're able to provide you with more tips and tricks, send out some emails, provide you with more content. If you're an expert, maybe we won't bug you as much. So for here, we're going to ask you about your store, what type of store it is. So I've already gone through and I've said that I'm an art studio. There's a free form here, or you can choose any of these other options here on the top. So we're going to stick to art studio. And then one of the core commerce things to set up for WooCommerce is having your store or business address information. There's a lot of plugins and extensions for your WooCommerce store that are based on your store address. So we ask you this from the get-go. That way we are able to share that information with the extensions. We can pre-populate some fields for you. So we've gone ahead and entered that. Tax information. By default, WooCommerce taxes are not enabled. They're turned off. So we'll just ask you here if you want us to go ahead and enable those tax rates and calculations. You can configure it later, or you don't have to turn it on right now at all. So for this demo, we're going to say, yep, we'll go ahead and enable those sales taxes and calculations. And in this screen, we're going to ask you about the products that you'll be selling. The reason we ask this is then we're able to further tailor your experience and provide you with extensions to use based on your store. If you're going to be doing bookings or digital products, memberships, then we're able to give you those recommendations and get extensions already set up for you, as well as with the products that you're selling. You know, if I'm only selling 1 to 10 products, it's probably not that important that I have a search or a filter for my products. Whereas if I'm going to be selling, you know, even up to 100 or 101 to 1,000, it's really important that your customers have the ability to search your site and find the products that they're looking for. So this one is where we're going to go ahead and start filling out our information. So for today, we're building Sadie's Art Studio. She's a studio where she sells original prints. People can come in and take paint classes. They can do, you know, the sip and wine nights where you have a drink and do some art, have those bookings. So over here is going to start giving you a preview of what your site is going to look like in Google. So you can see, here's what it's going to look like there. I can put in my site description. I will say we'll paint, create, and have fun. But put whatever you want here. For your social media section, this is going to fill out the social media again on Google, and I've got some stuff to copy in. If you don't have social media or handles yet, that's okay. This is totally optional, but as you're entering this social media information, your fav icons will start appearing over here to the right. And this is going to improve your search engine optimization. When you add these and you add your own handles to your Twitter, to your Facebook, to your Instagram, then Google can start indexing your site and start associating Sadie's Art Studio with her Instagram, with her Facebook. It'll just help you and your users find, you know, your site easier, get more traffic to your site. And then here, if you've got a logo, here's where you can go ahead and add your logo, and it will give you a preview of that logo, and it will also show you how it's going to show up as your fav icon in the browser. Fav icon is just a fancy name for the little icon that shows next to the titles that you're seeing up here. So with all that, we're going to go ahead and say finish, and this will take you right into WordPress, and I'm going to jump over here. So you can see that my store info, that step is already complete. The tax info is completed. If I want to come back and edit any of that information, it's just a quick link here to click here or here. Now what's also exciting is that we have 2 plugins that our Yith team developed, one for payments, one for shipping. So for here, you're going to connect with your PayPal business account. This will allow your customers to purchase items off your site or do a booking with PayPal, with credit card. There's a lot of configuration options, which I'll go through and show you here. You can choose the environment that you want to connect with. I'm going to connect with Sandbox here. You're able to find your Sandbox credentials in your PayPal business account to be able to connect, or you can connect live. I always like to start with Sandbox just so I can test and make sure that my products and my sales are going through proper. If you don't already have an account with PayPal, you can come over here and sign up for free, and it will take you through PayPal's flow of signing up for that PayPal business account. Now, because it asks for social security numbers and credit card information, I'm not going to show that setup flow for today, but it's super straightforward. PayPal's done a great job of getting you easily set up. And then shipping, we have partnered again with Yith, who have created an extension with Shippo, who's a multi-carrier for e-commerce businesses. So you can ship things via FedEx, UPS, USPS. I mean, there are a ton of integrations here that are available to you. Same thing here is you're able to connect via Sandbox, so that way you're able to do testing, which you're able to find in your Shippo account as well. And again, if you don't already have a Shippo account, you can go ahead and sign up for free through Shippo. Just throw in your name, your email, your password. One thing to know that Shippo will ask for your credit card information. You won't be charged out of the gate, but it will be the card that they use when you are paying for your shipping labels. So again, because it asks for a credit card, I'm not gonna enter that information today, and we're just gonna say, yay, we're connected. So we've got all these steps done here. Moving on to products and services, is we've provided you with quick and easy access to be able to add or manage any of your products, as well as we've linked to an article to learn more about products. For those of you who are not familiar with WooCommerce, there are a lot of product options to choose from when you're creating your products. And we'll go over that here in a little bit, but this is where you'll go to add and to manage those products. So one exciting thing, again, we've partnered with the team Yith, who have built a fully customizable Gutenberg block-based theme that is specifically for commerce stores. For the block-based themes, it's really difficult to find a lot of commerce block-based themes that are out there in the market. So we are installing this theme by default for all of our e-commerce users. What's great about it is that it comes with a lot of templates and a lot of options, fully customizable, a few different colors that are available out of the box. And we have quick links for some of the core pages that we believe any e-commerce store should have, right? So you have your home page, your about page, your contact page, and there's other recommended pages that we'll put in here as you're growing on your journey. Maybe you want to add a blog to talk about your product, to talk about your market, to have, or even adding in your social channels or a blank page, and you can put whatever pages that you're wanting here. But here's where you're going to go to launch into creating those pages. Now, based on the questions that I answered in onboarding, we've already gone ahead and installed some features that are available to use out of the box. So I said that I wanted to have bookings, and so that plugin is ready and available for me to go and manage that. The search tool, based on how many products I said I was going to sell, is already installed, ready to go. Wish list, I want my customers to have wish lists and see the wish list and purchase items from the wish list. Product filter, again, selling gift cards in my store and customizing my customers' account page. So there's these quick links to go ahead and set up these extensions that the Bluehost product team, again, partnered with Yith, and we hand selected all of these extensions for our commerce customers to really get you up and going and give you features that will really help to make your store successful, and with more to come in the future as well. Now, from here, when we feel like we're all ready, we'll come here and you're able to launch your store. So by default, if I go to my site, or if any of you went to this URL, it would have a coming soon page. It's not ready. I'm not ready to show it to the world. But once I am ready, then I can go ahead and click launch the store, and everything will be live. Now, what's nice about that is you can make customizations, changes, updates as much as you want before you feel like you're ready to go, and you don't have to worry about is it perfect yet? Am I ready? Is it looking good? You can go ahead and make those tweaks. I'll stop there. Are there any questions, Devin, to be answered, or anything from anybody?
There are a handful of questions, but I think I'm getting to most of them. So I would just say let's just keep going for now, and we'll catch some at the end.
Awesome. So again, going back to products and services, I have already built out this demo site just so I can show you guys how robust the theme is and talk about creating products. So we'll go through and we'll add a product and just kind of talk about some best practices and talk about a few of the different options there are for creating a product. You're given here the option, you can start with a template. If you choose this, then WooCommerce will autofill the product information for you to give you a good starting place. They'll give you a blank image and just small blurbs that you can put in your products. You can go ahead and add them manually. If you don't want the template, you just want to throw them in, that's completely fine. Or you can import via CSV. So if you have your store somewhere else and you want to bring it to WooCommerce, you can export your product information and then align the columns and the data to be able to just import, and your products will be here. So for this demo, we'll do add manually. And what's nice is that WooCommerce has built this tour for you, so that way you have the ability to kind of understand what the fields are. They give you a hint here on what's going on. So again, Sadie's building an art studio. So let's say she wants to sell a an original art piece. So we'll say it's a watercolor fox. And then here's where you're going to add the content of your product, where you want to add, if there's sizes, so if it's 11 by 9, or if it's, you can put what media that the painting is, just all the information that's pertinent for the customers to know is what you can put here in this section. I'm going to just throw in some lorem ipsum for the sake of this. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click publish here because I want to show you kind of how this changes and what the product looks like as you're building it. So one thing that I was really nervous about when I first was building a site, like if I hit this publish, does that mean it's going to take away my coming soon page? It's not. It just means that it's live on your store. So I have this product here. That's the description that we were just kind of going over, and where you want to put all the information in. To set your product image for the users to be able to see, you just go to add media, and I'm going to select product image here, and we're going to choose our watercolor fox. You can also set it over here to the right as well. And here's where I'm going to go ahead and throw in the price. So 25 bucks for this. Now here's a pro tip that maybe I know Black Friday is coming up and I don't want to have to worry about, you know, changing the prices the day before and worrying about this. I can go ahead and I can schedule a sale to run on my shop. And I'm going to say I want that to run the 25th to Cyber Monday. And that sales price is going to be 15 bucks. Then the last thing that I want to call out is, sorry, two more things, is the product short description. So this is what's going to appear next to your image of your product. So usually it's just a quick blurb, your marketing, you know, catchphrases, cute little fox with his mom, isn't it adorable? I mean, whatever you want to put here. And then the last thing is adding the categories. Adding categories helps your customers be able to also find things on your site, and it makes things a lot easier for you as you're building your site. So for this guy, we're going to say it's a watercolor, and click here. Now if I want my customers to be able to also download this and I don't have to worry about shipping, I can check this option here, choose which file it is that they're going to be downloading, and you've created yourself a digital product. So it's that easy. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to update this. And then we'll view the product just so you guys can see what it looks like after 2 minutes of me explaining how to do it. So we have our product, you have that small blurb here, and then your description down here. I've enabled reviews. I can turn those off if I want back in the product image. And then I have my categories here. If I want to change those, I just go back to edit product here to remove them. So it's that easy to add a product to your store. You'll see here, add to wish list was one of the extensions we talked about that we're putting, you know, giving to all of our commerce customers out of the box. So customers can say, great, it's added to my wish list. They can browse their wish list, and we'll get into that a bit more. So then coming back to the dashboard again, if I want to go through and I want to add more products, or maybe I say I want to go ahead and I want to start customizing what my site looks like. I'm actually going to jump over here to do this part. So this test site that I have, I didn't have the chance to have this one set up with the template. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go install the Wonder theme on this account. And that's one thing for you guys to know too, is that if you guys like the Wonder theme, it's available on WordPress.org. So you just go to the themes, click add new, and then you're going to search for Wonder. And it's this one right here. So I already have it installed, it's just not activated. I'm going to go ahead and activate that theme. and come back to my dashboard. So when I click into homepage, we'll build for you a template homepage that you're able to go and easily customize, add your own content. But we have a really great layout that's here for you, ready to go. And updating your site is super, super easy. Just click into the blocks. You can say Sadie's Art Studio. To change the picture, you just come here, click replace. You can upload your image or select an image if you have a media library already installed. There's also the options to go into Google Photos, Pexels, Openverse. So there's a lot of options there. So the point of today is not to go into a lot of site customizations, but you'll have a layout for your home, about, and contact pages. And say maybe you don't like this homepage layout. If you come over here and go to patterns, you can click explore. Under Wonder Pages, there's a few other templates that we have. So there's homepage 1, got homepage 2, homepage 3. You can choose any of those, or you can choose just sections of the theme itself to insert into your homepage if you'd like. So now to kind of show the robust features, I've gone through and built a demo site for Sadie's Art Studio ahead of time. So this is Sadie's Art Studio with that icon that I put in onboarding and my tagline that we provided. This is using the same theme as what you just saw here. I've just customized it to match Sadie's Art Studio as far as what she wants. I have some featured products, the watercolor, art classes, acrylic, more information about us. Palettes and Pinot paint night is here for users to be able to sign up now. You can see the most popular. So, I mean, this being the same theme to me is pretty incredible. To show off another view of this theme, this is also using that same theme, but just customized to more of like a sport athlete where you can book a session with a personal trainer or purchase any products. So to show you real life examples of what products and features that there are available, the first thing I want to highlight is you saw under creating products that one of the features that was available was gift cards. So I've got gift cards to Sadie's Art Studio here. And what's awesome about these gift cards is that I can come and I can choose various pictures that I want my customers to be able to choose from for gift cards. I can choose my delivery date. So maybe Devin's birthday is next Wednesday. I want to say I want it sent to him then. We're going to say this is for Devin. And you'll see on the left side here that the content starts populating as I'm filling this out. I don't think that's a real email address, so don't try to send him gift cards there for real. So this is from Jocelyn to Devin, and I can say, hey, I hope you have an incredible birthday. And add to cart. And then this can be sent to him digitally, or the customer can print that out and they can be, they can provide it. Or if it's something that you wanted to have, your custom gift cards made and printed somewhere, that you could do that and ship those out as well. So from there, I want to show you just some options with the bookings that we discussed. So we have art classes that are available on this website, which again are created just as a product. I'm gonna go in and say we want to do the watercolor mom and baby fox class. As a merchant, you can come here and customize all of the time options and slots that you have available. If I look at this calendar here, maybe I don't do paint nights on Sunday through Wednesday. I only do them Thursday through Saturday. I can block these dates off as unavailable. I can put the time ranges, the duration, you know, and if you're doing something more like a vacation rental, then your duration, you can set those to be days instead of time blocks for those longer bookings. So if people are interested in more information about bookings, you know, put a comment in the section with the questions, and we'll see if we can get a more in-depth webinar if people want to learn best tips and tricks on how to create bookings. So then the next thing to show off is we talked about that Ajax search and filter. So if we come here and go to the shop on this other site, you can see here that we've been able to add, I want to filter and see products that have red in them and only red stuff. So it's going to load and filter out those colors that I've as a merchant have added that have that tag. Or I want to say maybe it's only Nike that's red as my return. So this filter is really great to help your customers find exactly what it is that they're looking for on your site, especially if you have a lot of products. And then the search feature, I type in SAL and I have the return for anything that matches that. So Solomon running pulse bet, Solomon Supercross. So then again, there's the add to wish list feature that's here. So I'm going to click that and browse my wish list to see what I have available. Oh, I'm not logged into this one. I'm going to go back to this one. We'll say add to wish list here and browse our wish list. So here's everything that I've put in my wish list. From here, I can add to cart as the customer and get those loaded so I can quickly just look and check out if I want, which makes it really nice. The other thing that you have the ability to do is to customize your customer's account page. So if you wanted to change your left-hand nav over here to be on the right side or above the top, or in your dashboard by default, the content that comes with WooCommerce is just this quick overview. And on this account, I'm not logged in, so it's not going to show you, but you're able to customize that. I'll go and show you that really quick. And by the way, to customize all these features, again, you can go straight from your dashboard from Bluehost, choose the feature that you're wanting to customize, and go ahead and just click it from here. So that dashboard that I was talking about for your customers, you have your settings here where you can choose endpoints that are custom. So if you don't want to have maybe my dashboard, or you don't want to have wish lists available there, or gift cards, you can turn those off and save them. The style options that I was talking about, when I click here, that menu, so I want to say I want that menu to be on the right, and I can save that and it quickly updates on the site. If you are ever in a moment where you're feeling like you need additional help with the plugin or any of the settings, there's also this embedded help section here where it's going to give you the opportunity to read the documentation on the plugin, as well as contact our customer support team for additional help or questions that may not be covered in the documentation. So another cool thing is if I come in here and maybe I want to add more to that homepage, I can maybe say add media, and I'll say, I don't know. Sure, we'll do this logo. If I can come down here and I can say, welcome to my art studio. I'm glad you're here. So you're able to add a lot more customizations again to my account, which makes it really nice. You're able to put more of a human touch. You can put a contact form here, or maybe you're running a promotion. You can throw in a link to purchase something somewhere on your site. So there's a lot of robust features for you to give your customers a delightful experience, which to me is really important, that as you're building your site, you have to think more about what do your customers need. And in addition to making it look good, you want to have a good site, but more is like, what's the functionality? What are the delights that I can provide for my customers? And then for the Shippo and PayPal integrations, I'm going to come back over here to this site. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to add these swimming goggles to our cart. So now your users have the ability to choose to pay with PayPal, or they can pay with a credit or a debit card. Because we are in Sandbox, that when we set up the account, so what I mentioned before, if I wanted to go ahead and test my products and the purchases, I just throw in this card number that's provided from them, so I can place that order and see what that looks like, see if there's any changes, make sure that things are paying correctly. And then my shipping rates, when I fill out this information here for my billing and my shipping, is going to start populating over here. So we're in the United States. Now I have the options. Here's a few options that I can choose from for my shipping. So it's really robust. There's a lot of settings you can do. If you don't want to use UPS, if you only want to use USPS, if you only want to show one option here, if you want to provide free shipping to anywhere in the United States, totally customizable with that. And my store is online and ready for business. Now, when I start getting users and I start getting payments, then I'm going to start getting analytics about my site, and I want to, see that data and the traffic. There's a quick, easy button here to get to those analytics to have more information. So again, here's the fully customized site using the Wonder theme. I've got my shop, I have all my products here, I've got my gift cards, I've got bookings, I've got classes. I built out this contact page with this form so customers can reach out and ask any questions that they may have. We've got our about page that I put together using the template as well. So, and again, if there's things here that you don't like, you can just remove them or add other sections, which makes it really exciting. And then the last thing that I want to show is our higher tier commerce customers who have an online store plus marketplace package. And I don't have this one configured, but eCom Dash is a plugin that is auto installed for free for those users. And with eCom Dash, you manage your marketplace websites and on one platform. So if you're selling on Amazon or on Etsy and have multiple listings going across to multiple channels, you can come here, connect your WooCommerce site to eCom Dash, and you can see those sales, you can see the orders, you can see, there's quick links to the dashboard. And I'm not registered on this account, so I'm not going to mess with it because I know somebody's using it for testing, but I wanted to show you guys that it was available to manage that inventory, see, are you performing better on Etsy or your Facebook or your WooCommerce store, and just have more information there. So yeah, Devin, I think that covers it.
Awesome. Here's a couple extra resources. If you're feeling stuck along the way, you can always reach out to our support team. We also have a comprehensive e-commerce guide. We will send out these slides, so you'll have the links in here you can click. And we also have, as Jocelyn mentioned, a handful of KB articles, knowledge base articles, that are essentially step-by-step walkthrough guides on how to link the YIF plugins and how to get the most out of them. So I'll leave it on this while we go into our Q&A portion, but that is what is next, Q&A. So there might be one or two questions that are out of the scope, but we'll still ask Jocelyn, and you can tell us if you want to answer them or if we should follow up with that person individually via email.
Okay.
All right, first question up, and let me see if I can move the questions over to the main screen so I'm not staring off to the side as much. First question is about taxes. I'm trying to find it real quick. How do you know if your services or products are taxable or non-taxable?
I would always check with like for a business, I would always check with an accountant, number one. Number two is that it also depends on your location. There are different laws, globally, in India, I know that they have to calculate their taxes and do it different by city. For me, I'm based out of Utah is where I live, and I know that any of my customers who purchased products that are from Utah, I'm supposed to charge sales tax for those products. So I'm not a tax consultant. I would check with an accountant or look up online. There's a lot of good resources. There's also some plugins available, Avalara and others, that can help you with your tax information. And there's in the taxes settings, there are some links to additional resources. So great question.
Awesome, thank you. And I said something similar just to give myself a little validation. I said something fairly similar to that, but you gave much more information, so thank you for that. Someone else asked, they said, I'm new to blogging, but I've had an Etsy store for over 3 years. Can you tell me some advantages of switching products from Etsy to this platform instead, or can they work together?
They can work together. So using the ecom dash, if you still want to sell on Etsy and have, if you're established there, you can definitely have both, or you can switch. So for me, the advantage is with Etsy, you have their platform that you're limited to, right? All of their integrations, how you put your products up, their search. You're also competing with a lot of other merchants on their marketplace. So the advantage of having your own site is, number one, you're building a reputation for your brand. You have a more established business. You have your custom domain name, your email address associated with it, and you have full control over the site and your refund policies, as well as the payments that you accept. You're not having to give a cut of that. We never take a cut of your payments. A lot of payment processors will charge a fee based on the payments that you're taking, which is really standard, but we will never take a cut of your payments.
More money in the pocket. I think everyone could get on board with that. This one was over my head technically on the technical aspect. They asked about the search tool, I believe the Ajax filter. And the question is from Mike, and they ask, does your search tool allow you to search either metadata or custom attributes?
That's a great question. I think both.
Cool.
So one thing I'm checking, because one thing to know is that the features that we have for our extensions, our YITH extensions, is that we built these so you can't find the version of these extensions just anywhere on the marketplace. YITH has a free version and a premium version, and the version that we are providing fits in the middle, but closer to the premium version of what it is, and just they're completely custom made. So let me follow up with you on that one.
Sure. I have one or two people asking about a CSV. I suspect that when I was answering a question, you referenced a CSV, and so people are not familiar with that acronym.
Comma separated values. So it's pretty much an Excel sheet where you would fill in, you would bring up an Excel sheet or a Google Doc or whatever it is, and there's various fields that you can fill out. So if it's easier for you to have information in the spreadsheet and kind of enter everything that way versus products one by one, if you have a lot of products, that's a really easy way to do it. And if you're interested, we can provide a template for you from this call that you can take to edit, as well as WooCommerce has one available. So it will pre-populate some information to give you kind of a starting point. Then you can look at that CSV, fill it all in, and then upload it, and then your products are created. The one thing with that though is that images typically aren't uploaded. So what I would suggest if you're doing that is to upload your media, upload your products, and then you can go set the product image that you want.
Okay, awesome. A few more questions. We've got a few more minutes as well. Thank you for these answers, by the way. These are all wonderful. Some people are saying that they'd love to see more information and demos on the booking. So that's more of just a mental note for me that we should have a webinar about that in the future. We'll probably bring you back, Jocelyn, to help walk us through that, if you don't mind.
I could probably spend an hour on it.
Perfect. Someone asked, Joanne asked, she's showing hard product sales. What if you're selling a digital product? How does that change on the back end? How does it change on the front end?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So when you're going through, well, I guess it depends on what type of digital product that you're selling. So there's the downloadable products or even virtual products, or that they have the ability to come back and access it anytime they want. Maybe it's courses or whatever. So when you're creating a product, you would still choose, well, it doesn't matter, I guess, if it's bookings or a physical product. You choose a simple product, and then next to it there's an option that you just click digital, or maybe it's virtual. So like maybe if I'm doing a consultation, then you wouldn't come anywhere. My consultation is over a call, you're booking my time, so that's going to be virtual. There's no shipping or anything involved in that. Or if it's a digital print, you say that it's virtual downloadable, and then you have to provide the link to that product if it's a downloadable product. So there's just a couple of fields there in the add product section that you have to go through and select.
Awesome. I think we've got just enough time for one or two more questions. Someone asked if this supports address verification. I don't know if any of our plugins do that, but I figured you would know better than I would.
For shipping, yep, you can turn on a feature where you have the address validated as they're entering their, when they're putting in their address validation.
Awesome. I know the answer to this, but didn't have a chance to get to it, so I'll just ask it here live. Does this integrate with Elementor, and I'll add to the end of it, other website builders like Beaver Builder or Divi?
Yep, it can be integrated into those builders, yes.
Okay, and someone else asked, what would be the advantage of creating a store this way versus doing it directly with just a WooCommerce plugin, just buying a regular hosting platform and using the WooCommerce plugin?
So I think that there's a lot of limitations with out-of-the-box WooCommerce plugins. And the reason that we have the extensions and plugins that we do and that we're providing with this new product is that there are some features that it just makes sense that we want our merchants to be able to have to offer to their customers. Because regardless, for shipping or for payments, whatever it is, that you're going to still have to go figure out what extension you want to use, or a wish list. You're going to have to figure out an extension. And that was one of the things as we built this that we wanted to eliminate kind of that frustration. There are thousands and thousands of extensions available, and it can get pretty overwhelming pretty quickly. The other thing too is that we are able to fully test the compatibility of all these YITH plugins together, along with the theme that we have available, as well as the WooCommerce 2022 and 2023 when that comes out. And we're able to, when you guys see any issues or bugs or reporting things, we can act on those pretty quickly, versus if it's a third-party extension builder, we're a little bit more limited for what we can do to help support you.
Yeah, and I would echo exactly what you said. Basically, is that it's almost like a managed WooCommerce solution, So we'll keep an eye on all the plugins and make sure that they're all working properly with the latest version of WordPress and everything like that. And I think another value that you get from it is just bundling all of that together, So from what I remember when I did an analysis, is you do save money as opposed, and definitely time, going through this as opposed to buying a regular hosting platform and then going out and installing all of the different plugins that come standard with this platform.
Yep, and on top of that too, if you do have the shared hosting, you just have the Woo plugin, is that you don't have the customizations that we're able to provide. So kind of the dashboard, and as we're extending and adding more features that are going to be available, there's nothing that's native to WordPress to kind of support that. So
Awesome. Two final questions that I think are fairly simple. People ask if they are still having a difficult time and would like to pay for someone to help them build it. Do we have any options? And I believe the answer is yes.
yeah.
Maybe you can talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, sure. So when you're in the WordPress admin, there's a help section that you can go to. And if you want full help, we have from like do it yourself, like if you have just a couple quick questions, or if you're like, I really just want somebody else to do it, we have full website or full service website building. We have SEO services and other experts through our Blue Sky team. So you can sign up and you can get a consultation with them and set up an appointment to see if that would be right for you.
Awesome. All right. Last two questions for real this time. I know more questions keep coming in, and they're great questions. Someone asked if this platform has tickets, if they want to sell tickets to events. Is that possible?
So it's not one of the features that we have out of the box, but it is something that we are looking into having a future integration for. Yith does have an events and tickets plugin that you can search through WordPress.org or go to yiththemes.com and check out their full suite of plugins.
Awesome. And the last question to end on, do you know the pricing off the top of your head? If not, I have the site pulled up because we're always running sales, and I believe it's on sale right now.
It is on sale. It's 70% off right now. So for the online store package, it's $9.95 a month, and then the online store plus marketplace is $12.95 a month.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone that tuned in and participated today. I always appreciate everyone's feedback. Like I always say, we try to make this educational and informative for you all. So thank you for your participation. Jocelyn, thank you for dropping in and joining us today. Could not
Thanks
have
for
done this
having
without
me.
you. Appreciate your
Thank
work, and we'll catch you all next month. Thank you so much.
you, everyone.